Brace yourselves as we stand shoulder to shoulder with the fearless anti-poaching unit, witnessing their heroic efforts to save rhinos from the clutches of poachers, including the courageous act of removing a rhino's horn. Get ready for an extraordinary tale of conservation and bravery as we continue to explore South Africa. Like and subscribe to follow along with our top line travels. 5 a.m. The sun is slowly rising. We're gonna get ready and hit the road because today we are off to find some rhino. For centuries, humans have been devastating animal populations for nonsensical reasons, and the rhinoceros stands as a symbol of this global tragedy. Nearly 95% of the world's rhino population has vanished, primarily due to poaching for the senseless game of horns. Amidst the despair, there is hope, and we get to experience it today firsthand, joining remarkable individuals who are tirelessly working to save rhinos and raise awareness. And we've hit the road to go and meet the APU, the anti-poaching unit. In numerous large animal procedures, helicopters have emerged as invaluable tools, enabling veterinarians to cover significant distances in remarkably short time frames. We have just made it out to where the conservationists are set up.
We've just seen the chopper land here, so we're going to get the debrief from them.
I'm sure everybody's aware of the rhino poaching crisis in South Africa, or on the continent basically. It's a complete devastation for us on the reserve, and we needed to look at ways to try and minimize the poaching impact that we had on the reserve. There are a number of steps that we took before we got to the dehorning. I wouldn't say it's a solution, but it's a precautionary measure. Some of those steps was more guard towers up across the reserve. So we improved our radio communications, put more tools in our toolbox. We started a canine unit. 2017, we made the call that we were going to dehorn our rhinos. We had to weigh the pros and cons. I must say, since we started the dehorning program, we have lost a lot less rhinos.
This whole process is amazing, but also very sad. The crisis they have with these
the rhino poachers is terrible.
It's terrible.
Unbelievable.
These conservationists, vets and rangers are doing every single thing that they can to save these beautiful animals.
We came up with various darting systems. We've modified it now to what we have nowadays. This is a 2cc dart. This is what we'll use for the rhino. 2 cc's is half a teaspoon. It's not a hell of a lot of fluid. So it had to be strong enough to knock down 2 tons of rhino. It had to be safe for the rhino. And then finally, it had to be a reversible product. It had to be something that you could finish the job and wake the animal up. And I'll use today an opioid with a code name of M99. It's related to the morphine molecule. Respiratory depressants, in other words, they stop you. They stop rhinos and ellies breathing to a lesser degree. A needle scratch from the end of my dart, or a drop of this stuff on your fingers, will stop you breathing in a couple of minutes. Where the dart goes into the rhino, just avoid that spot. I'll plug it with a small white antibiotic syringe. So you'll see when I get to the rhino, the first thing I'll do is I'll give it another injection into its ear vein. What that is another opioid, but this opioid works as a partial antidote. You'll see once we give that partial antidote, that rhino starts to breathe much more comfortably and relaxed. And you'll see that we put blindfolds on their eyes, we plug their ears. You'll see I use a chainsaw. I use a chainsaw because it's quick, it's efficient, and it develops a very small amount of heat when it cuts. I've done over 3,000 with a chainsaw, and I find it the quickest and easiest way to do it.
They are taking the door off of the chopper.
It's easier for the vet to shoot out of the helicopter without the door in the way.
That makes sense. We watched as the vet loaded his tranquilizer gun, and then he was off in the chopper with us hot on his heels.
Just finished the briefing and now we're racing to the target site.
They located the young bull rhino from the helicopter, tranquilized him, and then carefully guided him into an open area where the dehorning process could be conducted safely. We can hear the chopper above us. Using ropes to secure the animal, they rolled the young bull over into a comfortable position, maneuvering his legs to ensure proper blood circulation given his heavy weight. This handling minimizes stress and ensures his well-being. We have just gotten out of the buggy. They have started the rhino and he is falling asleep. We're about to approach him. The helicopter behind me is landing. We watched as the vet administered the partial antidote in the rhino's ear to stabilize his breathing. He was also blindfolded and his ears were plugged, minimizing sensory stimuli to reduce stress. He is an 8-year-old male rhino and he was walking with his friend. They dehorned his friend a little while ago and now it's his turn. They're spraying him down to keep him cool, to make him as comfortable as possible through this process. You really don't realize how massive these animals are until you're up close and personal. Wow, he's soft. He's super dirty though. The vet carefully used a chainsaw to remove the rhino horn. We watched him measure the nose mount precisely to avoid harming the animal. Expressing our current emotions is incredibly challenging. There's deep sorrow in realizing that humans have pushed themselves to a point where taking away these magnificent animals' horns is necessary. There's also profound anger, fueled by the knowledge that these creatures are poached due to misguided beliefs in certain countries, particularly in Asia, regarding the medicinal value of rhino horns. Despite medical evidence proving otherwise, this demand persists. It's also disheartening to acknowledge that some wealthy individuals desire rhino horns as trophies. I can tell you right now, there is no honor in displaying a rhino horn. Following the horn removal, a hoof grinder was used to smooth out the area, ensuring there were no stress points or fractures. And then antiseptic was applied, thus safeguarding the rhino's well-being and promoting a successful recovery. They have finished putting antiseptic on him now and cleaning him all up, ready to wake him up shortly. Studies have indicated that dehorning rhinos has limited adverse effects on the animals, providing a glimmer of hope in the conservation efforts to protect these majestic creatures from poaching. This whole process is super confronting, and it's really sad that it's come to this, but how incredible are these people who are doing this work to prevent these poachers from killing these animals.
Save these rhinos.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful animal. It's unbelievable.
This is the rhino horn that they have now cut off the rhino and will be storing and keeping safe. It's about a couple of kilos. This is the shavings off the rhino horn and it feels just like fingernails.
The vet Mike, he's just administering the drug to wake the rhino up. They've just wet him as well, keep him cool, so he's not too stressed. Whole process took about half an hour, start to finish, on the actual trimming. In all, probably about an hour since we left the meeting point, briefing point at the chopper dot.
It was honestly super quick. Watching the rhino regain consciousness was really interesting because he was fine. He woke up, wandered around and went about his day, which is really amazing to see. It's awesome what these people are doing for these animals. This morning has been an emotional one, from feeling immense sadness then to anger for these majestic animals. Being a part of watching these conservationists work tirelessly has been an absolute privilege.
If you'd like to help and protect these rhinos, Zululand Conservation Trust accepts donations. They're also heavily involved in the community with outreach programs. If you'd like to donate, the link is in our bio.
Join us in our next episode, which takes us on a drive into the Drakensberg Mountains to Wistershoek Lodge. Get ready for adventures filled with mountain picnics, clay pigeon shooting, exhilarating helicopter rides, and an overnight hike up to Tugela Falls.
one of the highest waterfalls on the planet. We'll conquer chain ladders to reach our campsite, take a refreshing dip in the Tugela River, and wake up for a sunrise that's simply unbelievable. Join us for a thrilling mountain escapade you won't want to miss. Like and subscribe to follow along with our top line travels.